All right. Well, here we are in a very different locale than we normally do this. But what's a day without the weather? And what's a day without the Astro Weather? It's like a day without mail. You got to deliver, right? A little weird, high strange with the mic stuff. I'm trying to get this internal mic kind of going here to the best of my ability. I'm using this pin mic, but it doesn't seem to want to play nice with the system, so to speak. Maybe we could put it in a different slot, and that might help. You never know. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Look at that. Where there's a will, there's a way, as they say. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me loud and clear. Hey, you want to come up here? I had a last minute change in my well, it wasn't really my plans, it was somebody else's plans. So wound up actually having to come to Austin. Come on up here. Come on. Come on. Show everybody where you're at. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. It's the traveling cat. It's Peachy the traveling cat. Anyway, yeah, so I'll be on the road starting today, and we will be doing a Friday forecast with Masaki over here, well, here on YouTube. So that'll be good. If you want to know what's going on in Japan, our guy has had a front row seat, and he is watching the globalization of Japan take place before our very eyes. And being that he literally has an investment in Japan, in that country, in his cultural heritage, it's kind of mind-blowing what's taking place. And it's just another brick in the wall, to use a metaphor that David has been using recently. All right, let's see who we have here. Who do we got in chat? Let's see. We've got DJ MC at 7:12 a.m. Kabuki Theater. What's up, Bo? Good to see you. Misbehaving 2, Thor at the door. It is Thursday. B2 Barbara Boots. B2 again, Beth Berry. We break the spell with Diane Evans and Bill Smith coming in. Ole Kobe. David El Nagarita. We know who that is. That's Jill Wong. Hi, Jill. Desi Logum. Yes, hello back. Moira in NYC. Well, come on up here. Come on up here. Come on. You want to come up here? Come on. You want to? Come on. You can do it. Come on. Come on. Here. Come on. Come on. Come on. There you go. Look who's here. Look who's here. Oh, a stranger in a strange land. Yes, I know. I know. But you need what you need. You got your food. You got your poop, and you got your pets now. Isn't that right? What's out there? Can you see all those people looking at you? It's amazing. It's amazing, this thing called the internet. I should just do a peachy channel. Let's see. Who else? Janice Phillips. What's happening, Janice? Tom Jordan's in the house. Lana. Nice. What's up, Rafi? Good to see you. Feeling the Scorpio season more. My God, there's a lot of Scorpio, man. There's a lot. We got a lot. A lot of Scorpio. Glemma Spank. Hey, Glemma. Sue Leonard from Down Under. Hey, Sue. There she is. Janine. Just do your best to light. Oh, yeah. Those transits are interesting in the 12th and the 8th house, aren't they? Hit the like and subscribe. That's right. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. You can even go media asset here. You can do media asset right there. Look at that. Like and subscribe. We like that. We like our media assets. They work for us. Let's see who else we have. Neil Smith, what's going on? The Big Cheese. Marquez in the house. I sent Mark a really interesting article. The same with Neil on Braden Smith, who played tackle for the Indianapolis Colts and went through a heavy religious OCD period when he was, it's not that long ago, a couple of years ago. And he took a leave of absence from the team, which tells you a lot about sports now. Because back in the day, like teams wouldn't let you do something like that. They'd probably just cut you and say, you're not worth our time or effort. You're burning a roster spot. Well, they've kind of worked out a lot of the collective bargaining stuff. So he was able to step away from the game for maybe a year. I'm not sure how much more than that, but he went to Mexico to take ibogaine and did the frog, and it helped him reset a lot of his OCD stuff. And now he's back with the Indianapolis Colts. It's a really interesting story. I mean, somebody who was at his wit's end. He was really, this is such a Scorpio thing. It's a great lead-in for Scorpio because Scorpio is ultra OCD. Like when Scorpio is really into something, they get into it, it's head first, there's no gray area, it's all or nothing, it's do or die. It's like that's just the nature of Scorpio. So a lot of times OCD kind of gets into that territory where all of a sudden somebody becomes obsessed with something. Sometimes obsession can be good. I don't have a problem with healthy obsession because you'll learn things, you'll grow quickly. It may take its toll a little bit on people around you, but usually obsession leads to some kind of success. Believe it or not. Not in all cases, but in many cases. If you're obsessed about something, you'll learn it, you'll immerse yourself in it, you'll want to integrate it into your life. And that's the most positive version of obsession. Now you want to play with my stuff. You don't get to do that. You get to be a part of the show, but you don't get to play with my stuff. So this is what this guy was going through. He was going through this major OCD. And it had to do with the fact that he was reading the Bible all the time, but he couldn't reconcile who he was before he became like a Christian. And every single thought in his head was like, if it wasn't about God, and I kind of know this. I've had my own experience with this in my younger days. That all you're supposed to do is just think about God all the time, right? God this, God that. What does God want? What is God's will? Am I doing the right thing? Am I having godly thoughts? Am I treating this person in a godly way? I mean, really, when you go down that path, that's where it kind of leads to. If you're that committed, like everything is just, how that works, right? And that's very Scorpionic. Now, for me, when I was going through that period, I also had a lot of really interesting phenomena happen at the same time. So the two were not really indistinct. I can't speak for Braden Smith, but he needed to break the chain. And the chain for him was repeating the same thing over and over again and being almost paralyzed because he could not reconcile these thoughts that weren't of God. And yet everything that he was taught and learned about Christianity said, this is where your head needs to be. This is where your heart needs to be. If you're not focused on it 24/7, you're not really living a righteous life, right? So that really enters into Scorpio territory. It's a really good story. Let me see if I can just bring it up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Because he actually uses some Scorpionic tools in order to get through his, let's see, hold on. I think it's football, Braden Smith football, NFL. Yeah, there's two Braden Smiths, which can be a bit confusing. One Braden Smith plays basketball at Kentucky. So this Braden Smith is an Aries. He's born March 25th, 1996. And this is the ESPN story. Now this came out last year, but I just became aware of it not long ago. And this talks about his obsession, OCD, and it talks about ibogaine. He went to Mexico to go do ibogaine. And let me see if I can find the right story here. Yeah, he was going to retire. That's how bad it was. He could not function. So this came out in the summer of last year. If you're interested in the story, this is on CNN.com. It's very mainstreamy, but it's a really, really interesting story. And it's one of those unusual interfaces where pro sports meets psychedelics and the whole OCD thing. Right. So there's Braden Smith, and they were going to go with surgery. They were going to go with some kind of a brain surgery. My God. So instead, he opted to try psychedelic drugs, ibogaine and 5-MeO-DMT for relief. And it seems to be working, he says. And while the 29-year-old said he's in a much better place than a year ago, he's still on an ongoing journey with his OCD and his religious scrupulosity. I'm still dealing with OCD. I still have obstacles. Oh, it's probably not sharing. My bad. It always does this fucking thing. Pardon my language. Whenever I hear something in my pocket, I'm like, oh, yeah, somebody's buzzing me. One of the mods is buzzing me. There you go. That should work. My apologies. And so this is, let me give you kind of so that's a picture of Braden Smith right here. And then there's kind of the trippy psychedelic photo that's supposed to represent his transformation. And I think what's interesting is that not only are we talking about the OCD aspect of Scorpio. Look at, he comes right in and says, I've messed up the first 28 years of my life. This is a Saturn return too. This is Saturn return. I need 28 more years to make up for the last 28 so I can be even with God, Smith remembers thinking. Look at that. Look how hard on himself he was. So there he is, number 72. I mean, this is really getting into the devils between his ears. And I'd like to see more of the ibogaine stuff. So this is what he says. This is really good. Okay, this is where we want to get into right here. Instead, they decided Smith would travel to Mexico for treatment, and in particular to see if the use of ibogaine and 5-MeO-DMT would help. He emphasized the importance of trying the psychedelic drug in a controlled, there we go, in a controlled environment among a group of people on their own journeys with therapeutic treatments surrounded by medical professionals. The ibogaine and the 5-MeO-DMT, they're used in a 5-day treatment. The first ibogaine after a 1-day break, then 5-MeO-DMT, and learning about the skill of mindfulness. That's pretty heavy. It's greater. It's that greater self-awareness and seeing the OCD for what it is. He says it is OCD. These are obsessions. These are fears. They're not real. And it takes some time to rewire my brain that way. And the ibogaine gave me that blank slate to be able to actually do that. Whereas I wasn't able to do that before because my mind was so rigid. Last year, a study of 30 military veterans with a history of traumatic brain injury found depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms improved immediately after treatment with ibogaine. The study published in Nature Medicine said they were treated in Mexico and none experienced adverse effects. The state of Texas recently approved $50 million to study ibogaine. Um, I I have experienced ibogaine, and it is a major reset. It is not a party drug. It is not a recreational drug. It is the only indigenous hallucinogenic plant that grows on the continent of Africa, and it's from the central part of Africa, primarily the Congo. And it is a very, very powerful medicine used for a number of things: initiation into the tribe, marriage ceremonies, the whisking away of dark spirits. Some tribes use it in a malevolent way, which is, I guess, that's the sort of the cut of human nature wherever you go. So they'll use it in a dark, ceremonial, magical way. But it's a very, very powerful substance, and it literally goes into your brain and resets parts of your brain chemically. I don't know how it does it. Like, I've read the literature, but the whole thing of him going through the ibogaine trip is very shamanic in and of itself, right? Using the plant medicines in order to come into contact with the parts of us that are decayed or rotted or dysmorphic or disowned or whatever, right? Like, that's what it's really, really good for. And you like, oh, I still have this, like, I'm carrying around, or I still have this grudge that, I'm holding against the world, or whatever that is, right? And I first came into contact with ibogaine through a friend of mine who, it was just weird. It was all sort of happening at once. It was like it just came into my awareness all at once. It was very strange. And then it came more, not just into my awareness, but it came into my actual physical, you know, space, right? I don't know why there's no picture. You should be able to see the picture. Hold on. Now it's just me. You're just seeing me now. That's all you need to see is me. Um, so, but when I read about it for the first time, it was in connection with this guy named Howard Lotsoff, who was doing a lot of therapy with people who were hooked on either crack or opiates. And he was doing this in Amsterdam with ibogaine. And eventually they moved that operation to Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. And they were having this incredible success. And what would happen is that people would have like a TV monitor appear before them when they were at the sort of at the peak of their trip. And they would see parts of their lives where they were, broken or stuck, and they would actually be able to reprogram those scenes in ways that were more loving and meaningful and healing, like really, really powerful, powerful stuff. And then the thing that ibogaine does is it goes into this one part of your brain where you have addiction, and it zaps it. It zaps the addictive part. So you wind up, if you have like an opiate or a crack, it's just gone. Like, after my experience with ibogaine, I did not want any. Uh, I didn't want any coffee at all. I had no desire for coffee. I had no desire for alcohol. It just goes away. Like, that. And it is a really, really powerful plant medicine. When it's synthesized, it still has the power of the plant medicine. And it could be used for a number of things that would be really tremendous. Even homeless people who are dealing with like fentanyl. I mean, I could easily see ibogaine coming in and playing a major role. That vets, I know people who work with vets and they use ibogaine. People in prison systems. I mean, there's just so much potential here for plant medicine to heal our lives in ways that I think are really profound. Maybe that's part of the next wave, and it's all very scorpionic. So why don't we get into the weather? And today's star of the day. It's the one time where I've used the cover, the thumbnail, and the star of the day as the same person, because I think they really epitomize Scorpio. So let's get into our weather. But before I do, I got to go. I got to go to a certain place, and that place is all about silver botanicals. Let me get them up here. Let me go into my happy place here. Get the link all set up. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? Here we go. Let me just throw this up here. And we go to our co-branded page. And guess what? You get to see the screen. If I could have just 2 minutes of your precious time, so I could talk about our good friends at Silver Botanicals, who have put together a special package for the 11th house. You get the Astro Weather bundle. That's the Silver Shield sanitizer, which is right there. I use it. I use it for my counters. It seems to work really well. Silver Tongue oral care. You want that after you brush your teeth in the morning. It's going to make your mouth feel amazing. You got the Silver Shield bar soap. Remember, this is all nanoparticulate silver. Silver is the element of the day. The Botanical Sea Serum. It's great for your face, your eyes, your dark circles. You got your deodorant, which is refillable. You got the Skin Guard Silver Gel, which is good. Some people have said that they've seen their spots removed or lighten up with the silver gel. And then there's the Foot Guard. You get all this stuff for $75. All these products. These are high quality, almost all organic in terms of the essential oils that go into them. And of course, the science of nanoparticle technology, silver nanoparticle technology. It's right there, and the link is available in the description of the show. All right, let's talk about the weather. Okay, there we go. Can you say Scorpio? Scorpio? We've got the sun at 0. Everything else is pretty advanced. Everything else is in third decan, which is Pisces. Do you want a dream or do you want a nightmare? Which one do you want? They're available. We got the Grand Trine. Now, in order to access this Grand Trine, which is a beautiful Grand Trine, by the way, you got Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, Mercury, the power of the Grand Trine. In order to access that, I think just go. It sounds really cliche, but just go with the flow. Go with the flow. This is not a day to, and this is something I have to really listen to myself with. This is not a day to sweat small stuff. Do not sweat small stuff. Get over the small stuff. Grin, bear it, take a deep breath, there is a deeper flow in the day. Because what happens is that sometimes when we get moving in our day and all of a sudden we have some kind of a distraction or digression or something that keeps us from being present and in the moment, it can be not always the easiest to recover from, right? So it's kind of like you have a choice today. You can make life difficult or make life more difficult by fighting against things that aren't really your dog in the fight in some ways, right? You got to figure that out too. If you can bypass that, then there can be a much easier, deeper, uh, more kind of channeled, I guess would be a word. It feels that way. It feels like there's this channeling of life force and power and intensity that is coming through right now. And you don't want to miss out on it by squabbling and getting hung up on things that aren't really all that important. I mean, they may seem important in the moment, but in the big scheme of things, they're not. Okay. They're not. And if you can veer out of that and steer out of that kind of over ego, to me, the Sun Jupiter square is almost like an over egoification. And the Sun Pluto square is like you're going to fight to the death. So if you're over identifying with something and your only option is to double and triple down, it's not a good option. Now that Sun is coming out of an opposition with Chiron finally. So, maybe it's not even your battle to fight. What's interesting is Venus hanging out here in just pure singleton form. Look at that. Beauty unbound. Search for beauty, or maybe beauty will search for you. This is a very, very interesting. This is an island of sanity. And beauty is the thing in the world that we've lost touch with in a lot of ways. The capacity of beauty to move us has been clearly diminished by all the horrific shit in the world, which is easy to find. But today, beauty stands out on its own. Pay attention to it. Not a lot of earth in the sky. We got that south node, and that's about it. Right. So these are dark rapids. These are very dark rapids. Hold on to the side of the boat. You'll shoot the rapids. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll eventually land that boat on some earth. Although lunar wise, we won't get that for another two. Well, I wouldn't call it 2 lunation cycles, but 2 phases when the moon goes into waxing. It gets into sort of the waxing. Waxing gibbous is more over here. So it's that 3/4 moon, right? But it's going to be at the end of Capricorn. So this is actually a really, really very positive set of energy today. I mean, Mars, there's a lot of desire. There's a lot of desire. There's a lot of kind of primal, intense, deep, very sexual. Like this stellium of Scorpio is like amplified. by this trine with Jupiter. So it's wholesome. Can it be wholesome? Why not? Um, but there's also something very sacred about this energy as well. This is a total triangle, a binding trine. Let's put it that way, a binding trine. We have Saturn also in sextile with Pluto and Uranus, which makes it easier in a lot of ways to have more esoteric or abstract ideas and get them across to the public. Neptune is back into Pisces. Again, I expect more water, more heavy water to start to address itself and make us more than just a little wet around the edges. That's my atmospheric take for Neptune and Pisces. But all in all, I think this is a very, very deep and very profound and intense. And if you're passionate about something, it comes through, right? This is one of those days where you can't fake it. You're either in or you're out. You're either on or you're off. I mean, we don't often think of Scorpio as being binary, but it kind of is. It's life or death. It's black or white. I mean, it's heaven, it's hell. I mean, that's also very Piscean, but that's the nature of Scorpio. We've got in conjunct Uranus with the sun, and we have a little Chiron in conjunct going on with Mercury. Are you a little crazy? Congratulations. You're not the only bozo on the bus. Right there. And then the Uranus sun in conjunct is meetings that are out of the blue and unexpected. So there's that, also part of a yod here with Neptune as well. Very interesting day. The word I would use, fated, F-A-T-E-D, fated. That's the word I would use. So there you go. There's your astro weather, clocking in here at roughly 8:40. Not too bad, right? Nice, crisp delivery of the astro weather. Let's move into our star of the day. Again, the only person who's ever managed to be both a thumbnail and a star of the day, because, well, it's kind of worth it. Let's get the old banner up. Here we go. All right. So your True Hemp Science star of the day is none other than Diana Dors. And Diana Dors was the English version of Jane Mansfield. She might have had a better movie career than Jane. She played in a lot of those Hammer horror movies back in the late 60s. She definitely had a longer film career than she started. The first time I saw Diana Dors, she played a shopkeeper girl in Oliver. Do you remember Oliver? The Oliver Twist, the Dickens. It was the Michael Lean version. She played a shopkeeper girl. It might have been one of her first roles. But she is sex personified. She's got Venus and Mars and Mercury and Pallas and Ceres all in Scorpio. She's a double Libra. So she's right at the end of Libra. And I mean, obviously, she's not just beautiful, but she's a sex bomb. I mean, I think of all the blonde bombshells in Hollywood and also in England, because there were some others in England. Diana Dors is, I think, at the top of the list. And it's her astrology that really typifies it. It's the thing that sets her apart. She's got Pluto conjunct her midheaven. And she has Juno conjunct Pluto. Are you fucking kidding me? like the whole idea of somebody like Diana Dors is if you're a member of the male sex, like what do you want to do with this woman? You want to procreate with this woman. You want her to start having children, right? I mean, that is the whole idea. So she is the kind of the ultimate honeypot for that experience because Juno represents fertility, right? And she's got this, she's a freak of nature. She's an astrological freak of nature too. And she's got that Mars, Pluto, Mars is, are you kidding me? Mars and Scorpio, trining Pluto and Scorpio, or I'm sorry, trining Pluto and Cancer. Hello. Moon in Pisces in the fifth house. So she's like everybody's fantasy. There's nothing very real about her, like in the quote unquote real world. There's like a lot of fantasy, a lot of projection. But again, that's part of it. Moon Pluto trine, Mars Pluto trine, all water. Yeah, this is somebody who was very comfortable in their sexuality. Jupiter and Leo in the 10th house. I mean, she becomes a star. She's not a huge star, but she's enough of a star. And she's kind of, larger than life in a lot of ways. Her relationships, like most women, like Diana Dors, don't always work out very well. Although she was married to, who was she married to for? There was somebody kind of interesting she was married to. Um, but these people never really stay married very long. Her 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 maiden name was Fluck, like fuck with an L. Fluck. Diana Mary Fluck. Oh my God. You can't make that up. You cannot make that up. Man, oh man, oh man. Didn't know who the father was. All right, who's her marriages? Hold on. Let's see. She was a big star, especially in England. She had some American films as well. Who was she with? It looks like she recorded some music as well. Okay, so she married Richard Dawson. That's who I was trying to think of. She married Richard fucking Dawson. That makes sense, doesn't it? Now, her and this other guy, Dennis Hamilton, oh, they did some freaky stuff. They did these sex parties at her house, and they filmed everything. Like this was one of the original honeypots. Very sneaky, very very eighth house of you, Diana. Very very eighth house. So yeah, she'd have these parties, and they would be sex parties, and she would have cameras all over the place. And I think some of it might have also involved a little backdoor blackmail, a little side hustle. Um, that Mars Jupiter square is just like a libido out of control. That's how yours truly sees it. And this is a person who did not mind the attention at all. Not at all. She has a Pluto square going on with Mercury in her chart. I think that's where a lot of the filming stuff is. It's that Pluto Mercury square. That's where I think the peeping Tom stuff is, and getting the dirt and getting the secrets up. She's an interesting person. I mean, listen, She got plenty of mileage out of being Diana Dors. Let's put it that way. She did not waste the figure, the form, the femme fatale, the scorpionic overdrive. She didn't waste it. Could she have been a great actress? Could she have been a Judi Dench, a Dame Judi Dench? Who knows? But Dame Judi Dench never had the world look at her like Diana Dors did. And Diana Dors, to her credit, she was cool with it. It wasn't like she was, trying really hard to shed the image of being a sex symbol. That's for sure. All right. So this has been brought to you by truehempscience.com, your one-stop shop for all things CBD. All you got to do is spend $100 or more, type in 15MINS, and you will get the goodie bag with your order, that lovely goodie bag. What else? $150 more, get you free shipping, and there's always a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can't beat that. It's a new moon. Get yourself some good health products from both our sponsors, and keep the circle of life flowing here. Because I guarantee you, once you try the Silver Botanical stuff, you will not go back. You'll continue to use their soap. You'll use their eye serum. You'll use the sanitizer. You'll definitely use the oral care. You'll use the deodorant. You won't go back. You'll have a whole new product line. And that product line is local. It's fantastic. So both our sponsors here in Austin and in San Marcos, Texas. All right, take care of yourselves. Go with the flow. Go with the deep flow. In the meantime, use your head in order to discern what's real, your heart to say what's possible. I'm Robert Phoenix. We'll be back here over on YouTube tomorrow to have a scintillating discussion with our pal Masaki Miyagawa, and we'll be talking about Japan and what the globalists have in store for the quaint and beautiful Isle of Japan. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, take good care. Love you all. Bye for now.